Jaya Rama Rama Kunjabihari Jaya Rama Rama Kunjabihari Jaya Rama Rama Kunjabihari Gopi Jana Baba Girivamari Gopi Jana Baba Girivamari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Rangana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunjabihari Jaya Kunjabihari Jaya Balaji Mai Subhadra Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Sri Ataji Jaya Bhagopal Jaya Sri Ataji Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Sri Ataji Jaya Bhagopal Jaya Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Vishnu Sabri Jaya Ask all that is up to Shishimada's divine grace, founder of ISKCON, Abhay Sharanadavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Granthara Shrimadbhagavatam Ki Their most merciful Lordship Shri Kunjabihari Ki Jagannath Sri Baladev Mai Subhadra Ki Sri Nataji Sri Balagopal Ki Shri Gauranitai Ki Nitai Gopal All glories to the Assembly. All glories to the Assembly. All glories to the Assembly. All glories to the Lord and Spirit of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. So today being Ekadasi, we will be looking at Papan and Kush Ekadasi. And in order to derive the total benefit from Ekadasi, we will recite the Vaishnava names of Ekadasi. Utpana, Mokshada, Safala, Putrada, Trishprisha, Baimi, Vijaya, Amalaki, Papa Vimochani, Damanakaropani, Varutini, Mohini, Akana, Pandavanirja, Yogini, Devasayini,
Vijayasani,
Kamika, Kavitaropani,
Alatavanani,
Anada, Parshva, Indira, Pachankush, Ram, Devatani, Visudha, Sudha. So today we are studying from the Ekadasi book in its 22nd chapter entitled Papankush Ekadasi. Yudhishthira Maharaj said, "O Madhusudan, what is the name of the Ekadasi that occurs during the light fortnight of the month of Ashwin, September and October? Please be merciful and tell this to me." The Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, replied, "O King, please listen as I explain the glories of this Ekadasi, Papankusha Ekadasi, which removes all sins. On this day one should worship the deity of Padmanabha, the lotus-naveled Lord, according to the rules and regulations. By doing so, one achieves whatever heavenly pleasures he wants in this world, and at last attains liberation. Simply by offering one's humble obeisances unto Lord Vishnu, the rider of Garuda, one can achieve the same merit as is won by performing great penances for a long time with completely controlled senses. Although a person might have committed unlimited sins, he could still escape hell just by paying his obeisances to Lord Hari, who removes all sins. The merits gained by going on pilgrimage to tirthas of this earthly planet can also be achieved simply by chanting the holy names of Lord Vishnu. Whoever chants these sacred names, such as Ram, Vishnu, Janardhan, or Krishna, especially on Ekadasi, never sees Yamaraja's abode. Nor does one who fasts on Papankush Ekadasi, which is so dear to me, see that abode. Both the Vaishnava who criticizes Lord Shiva and the Shivite who criticizes me certainly go to hell. The merit obtained by performing 1,000 horse sacrifices and 100 Rajasuya sacrifices is not equal to even 1/16 of the merit a person obtains by fasting on Ekadasi. Now you can see why I'm fasting on Ekadasi. There is no higher merit one can achieve than that attained by fasting on Ekadasi. This is Krishna's words. Indeed, nothing in all the three worlds is as pleasing or as able to purify one of sin as Ekadasi, the day of the lotus-naveled Lord, Padmanabha. O King, until a person observes a fast on the day of Lord Padmanabha, named Papankush Ekadasi, he remains sinful, and the reactions of his past sinful deeds never leave him. Wow. There is no merit in all the three worlds that can match the merit one attains by observing a fast on this Ekadasi. Seems like I've never read this before. I've read this Ekadasi book 3, 4, 5 times. It seems like every time I read it, it's like the first time reading it. Whoever observes it faithfully never has to see death personified, Lord Ramaraj. One who desires liberation, heaven, good health, beautiful women, wealth, and food grains should simply fast on this Ekadasi. O King, neither the Ganges, Gaya, Kashi, nor Pushkar, nor even the holy site of Kurukshetra can grant as much merit as Papankush Ekadasi. Krishna. O Yudhishthira, protector of the earth, After observing Ekadasi during the daytime, the devotee should remain awake through the night, for by doing so he easily attains to the abode of the Supreme Lord, Sri Vishnu. 10 generations of ancestors on his mother's side, 10 generations on his father's side, and 10 generations on his wife's side are all liberated by a single observance of a fast on this Ekadasi. Do we hear this? Krishna, all these ancestors, you're getting this benefit by having recited them all. All these ancestors attained their original 4-armed transcendental forms. Wearing yellow garments and beautiful garlands, they ride to the spiritual world on the back of Garuda, the enemy of the snakes. This is the benediction my devotee earns simply by observing one Papan Kush Ekadasi properly. Krishna, O best of kings, whether one is a child, a youth, or an old person, fasting on Papan Kush Ekadasi frees him of sins and makes him immune to suffering a hellish rebirth. Whoever observes a fast on this Ekadasi becomes free of all his sins and returns to the abode of Lord Hari. Whoever donates gold, sesame seeds, fertile land, cows, grain, drinking water, an umbrella, or a pair of shoes on this most holy day will never have to visit the abode of Yamaraj, who always punishes sinners. But if a resident of earth fails to perform spiritual deeds, especially the observance of a fast on holy days, such as Ekadasi, his breathing is said to be no better than the puffing of a blacksmith's bellows. O best of kings, especially on Papan Kush Ekadasi, even the poor should first bathe and then give some charity and perform other auspicious activities according to their ability. Whoever performs sacrifices or builds public ponds, resting places, gardens, or houses does not suffer the punishments of Yamaraj. Indeed, one should understand that a person must have performed such pious activities as these in his past life if he is long-lived, wealthy, of high birth, or free from all diseases. But a person who observes Papan Kush Ekadasi goes to the abode of the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna concluded, "Thus, O saintly Yudhisthira, I have narrated to you the glories of Papan Kush Ekadasi. Please question me further if you wish to hear more about Ekadasi." Jai. Sri Papan Kush Ekadasi ki Jai. This ends a narration of glories of Papan Kush Ekadasi, or Ashvin Shukla Ekadasi, from the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. According to Shrimadbhagavatam, Vishnu is a Purush incarnation of Lord Sri Krishna's quadruple expansion. Then the next Ekadasi coming up in 2 more weeks is Ram Ekadasi. And we will possibly read from the Krishna book. Now we will read from Shrimadbhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraya
Tato Jayamudiraya
Nastaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nastaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhagavati Naishtaki.
Bhakti Bhagavati Naishtaki.
Reading from Shrimadbhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 52. Yata Pankena Kankam Pankamba Yata Pankena Pankamba Suraya Va Surakritam Suraya Va Surakritam Buddha Hatyam Tatavaikam Buddha Hatyam Tatavaikam Na Yagnai Marstum Arhati Na Yagner Marstum Arhati Yata Pankena Pankamba Suraya Va Surakritam Bhuta Hatyam Tataivaikam Na Yagner Marstum Arhati Yata Pankena Pankamba Suraya Va Surakritam Bhuta Hatyam Tataivaikam Na Yagner Marstum Arhati.
Yata Pankena Pankamba
Yata Pankena Pankamba Suraya Va Surakritam
Bhuta Hatyam Tataivaikam
Bhuta Hatyam Tataivaikam
Nayagner Mastum Arhati
Na Yagner Marstum Arhati. Yata as much as Pankena by the mud Panka Amba water mixed with mud Suraya by wine Va either Sirakritam impurity caused by the slight touch of wine
Purity caused by the slight touch of wine.
Uttahatyam killing of animals Tata like that Eva certainly Ekam one Na never Yagnai by the prescribed sacrifices. Jai Shri Jai Marstum to counteract Ardhati is worthwhile. Yatta Pankena Pankamba Surdaya Vasirakisham Bhutakatyam Tataivaikam Nayagnir Mastumarti. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanadavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. As it is not possible to filter muddy water through mud or purify a wine-strained pot with wine, it is not possible to counteract the killing of men by sacrificing animals. Please repeat. As it is not possible to filter muddy water through mud, or purify a wine-stained pot with wine. It is not possible to counteract the killing of men by sacrificing animals. As it is not possible to filter muddy waters through mud or purify a wine-stained pot with wine, it is not possible to counteract the killing of men by sacrificing animals. Purport by His Divine Grace of Acharnadavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Ashwamedha yajnas, or Gomedha yajnas, sacrifices in which a horse or a bull is sacrificed, were not, of course, for the purpose of killing the animals. Lord Chaitanya said that such animals sacrificed on the altar of yajna were rejuvenated, and a new life was given to them. It was just to prove the efficacy of the hymn of the Vedas. By recitation of the hymns of the Vedas in the proper way, certainly the performer gets relief from the actions of sins, but in case of such sacrifices improperly done under inexpert management, surely one has to become responsible for animal sacrifice. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, there is no possibility of performing the yajnas perfectly for want of expert Brahmins who are able to conduct such yajna. Maharaj Yudhisthira therefore gives a hint to performing sacrifices in the age of Kali. In the Kali Yuga, the only sacrifice recommended is the performance of Harinam Yajna, inaugurated by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But one should not indulge in animal killing and counteract it by performing the Harinam Yajna. Those who are devotees of the Lord never kill an animal for self-interest. And, as the Lord ordered Arjuna, they do not refrain from performing the duty of a Kshatriya. The whole purpose, therefore, is served when everything is done for the will of the Lord. This is possible only for the devotees. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, 8th chapter of the Shrimadbhagavatam, entitled Prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit Saved. Om Jnanatimarandasya Jnanandana Shalakaya Chakshusam Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So it's being revealed here that some activities that people are engaging in with the hope of being forgiven of their sins is not effective. And so it is saying that killing another living entity because one has killed a human being is not going to please God. And because of the influence of the age, people having lost the ability to perform sacrifices properly, now conducting those sacrifices will not only be responsible for the sins they incurred that they thought were getting freed from, but now they become guilty of the sin of killing an innocent creature. And so that binds them even more. This is why we can look at ourselves as so fortunate as to have found a path of spirituality that frees us. Srila Prabhupada says only a devotee can become free. And in our sacrifices, the fire sacrifices we perform even, by the regulation given by Lord Chaitanya, then we perform the fire sacrifice with the chanting of the Harinam Sankirtan, and not with the performance of the offering of an animal or creature. And those creatures in previous ages in which there were qualified Brahmins to offer, now instead the cow is worshipped once a year, to be brought into the temple in Vrindavan. So they celebrate in many ways in Vrindavan. And one day a year as well, they fill the whole temple up. The celebration of the lights, I think it's called. And they fill the whole temple up with water about this deep, and then they float these candle lights all over on little boats. So many celebrations that there are in Krishna consciousness, which means, see, when we make God happy, and He's explaining to us what makes Him happy is not the killing of animals, even though we are led to believe it is bringing happiness to God by other quote-unquote scripture. But God is so merciful in His giving of processes that He bends over backwards to people, to serve people, you can say. When God had many times over given the children of Israel food that came out of the desert that was of a vegetarian nature, they refused it and demanded meat instead. So God, in His loving kindness, gave them the desires of their heart. And by the demands of people then, God allows them to experience the extent that they are able to surrender themselves to Him with. So we, having the full facility to be able to render everything we have to Krishna, now as an institution, ISKCON is offering that support. And those that take shelter of the facility ISKCON is offering then have the means to become totally free from the need to interact with society even. When you're distributing books, it is not linking you to the karmic actions of the people you're giving the books to, because you're giving them the means to become free from all the reactions of their activities that, even those activities that some of them are thinking are causing them to become free from sin, are involving them even more in sin. This is a mystery brought out in this verse. When God Himself is speaking, see, we went from one conversation Krishna was having with Yudhishthira about the sacrifice of giving up food for a day, which Krishna was saying He appreciates so much that He gives the benefit to human beings who do that to their very family members, 10 generations going back.
And your wife's family too.
And your wife's family. Can you imagine how powerful that is? I mean, Krishna's keeping track of all these births we've had. And He's going to reward the people. So what are they going to think about us then? And if He's keeping us, our activities having an effect on them from the past, then certainly they're going to be able to appreciate that we've done that for them in the future. Think about that. And some of them may even have been quoted as saying, we made a mistake. They will come to find out following Krishna is no mistake. It's the greatest decision a person can make in life. And it doesn't come automatically overnight. Developing pure love for God. But it can. It doesn't normally come overnight. But Srila Prabhupada said it can happen in a moment. That's the nature of chanting. Chanting can bring that state of consciousness that pure love is like no other act. Because most other acts, you're having to concentrate, for example, with cooking, you're having to concentrate on chopping up what you're going to chop up. You're thinking about cooking, you're thinking about this and that. Same thing even with distributing books. You're having to intermingle with people. You're trying to think of what's going to appeal to this person, that person. But with the chanting, because book distributors, they have to chant too. And so being on the front lines, then Krishna empowers them especially. But chanting allows us to concentrate our minds on that state of consciousness which when experienced then is pure love. When we are in that mood of surrender, Krishna, please engage me in your service. Because there is only the force working for God and the force working against God.
Okay.
So if we're not engaged in this energy, then we're engaged in that energy working against him, which is that which we think is fulfilling the needs of our senses, the needs of the body, which is where we see the need to overcome the false ego, which again, this chanting overcomes, because we didn't invent the chanting. We're not engaging in it because we created it. And if we have pure hearts, we're engaging in it simply because Krishna expresses it as something that pleases him. And in that mood, then that's the same mood developed by those who have had developed pure love for Krishna. Yeah. This book that I'm saying could be read poetically. See, for English-speaking people, to read the cover of a book called Bhagavad Gita, they have no idea whatsoever what the name Bhagavad Gita even refers to.
Zero.
Right? But the final battle that God took place on this planet, that's what the Bhagavad Gita is giving us an account of. It is the final battle before God left. He comes here to perform a specific function, and then when he's done, he leaves. So he, on the battlefield, killed as many kings necessary for the time to continue and enable eventually his names become known. Now we can assess from this that the planet was filled with so many dysfunctional kings that didn't want Krishna consciousness to be. That if Krishna had not done that, we right now wouldn't be able to be here discussing Bhagavad Gita or anything. In fact, it could even be concluded because Krishna has allowed what he's allowing now, that he allows it to go on until it's right at the brink of total disaster. Every army that Jarasandha brought to Krishna had as many combined. The Battle of Kurukshetra had 11 Aksohinis on one side and 7 on the other, each of which include a million walking soldiers. And Jarasandha brought one army that same size of the combined total of Kurukshetra every time. 22 times he did that. So can you, and each of them calling together all these kings from the world, from all over the planet, that were ruling their own little kingdoms in a way that Krishna was not happy with. And we know things that don't make Krishna happy. Slavery, forced tyrannical rulers, enforcing laws that force people to give more to the king than they have the ability to provide the necessities of life for themselves. So these kinds of tyrants that misuse government authority, Krishna deals with them. And that's what's going to happen with this coming fulfillment. This might be looked upon from many perspectives, and many people's perspectives will be that it will be a pouring out of God's wrath. But it's simply a carrying out of a prophetic, just like we're reading. And what Krishna describes there as the benefit people will get in the future. Now, how many he's speaking to, we don't know, because the future has not yet come. Future's coming. Never quite gets here, though. Same way with the present. You can't grab it. It keeps on moving on. So, but what he's saying we can take to be prophetically speaking to the people who take part in these activities. They're going to be put in, they're going to be creating a different environmental set of circumstances than what is existing on the planet. And so all of this so-called hardship or sacrifice that human beings are making now for the sake of following God is going to eventually cause big changes in the world to take place. The same way that Krishna's killing off of all these armies has had now, to the extent that we can now share these teachings about what Krishna spoke to Arjuna on that battlefield. Now here we have in Bhagavad Gita the explanation given about the absolute truth, told to Arjuna, O son of Pritha, know that I am the original seed of all existences, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of all powerful men. Bijam mam sarvabhutanam vidhi bharta sanatanam buddhir buddhi matam asmi tejas vinam maham. And Krishna's giving Arjuna the revelation of who he is. Bija means a seed. Krishna is the seed of everything. There are varieties of various living entities moving in inert. Birds, beasts, men, many other living creatures are moving living entities. Trees and plants, however, are inert. They cannot move, but only stand. Every entity is contained within the scope of 8,400,000 species of life. Some of them are moving, some of them are inert. In all cases, however, the seed of their life is Krishna. As stated in the Vedic literature, Taittiriya Upanishad, part 3, chapter 1, verse 1. Yeto va imani bhutani yajyante jayante. Brahman, or the supreme absolute truth, is that from which everything is emanating. Krishna is Parabrahman, the supreme spirit. Brahman is impersonal, and Parabrahman is personal. Impersonal Brahman, situated in the personal aspect. That is stated in Bhagavad Gita 14:27. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Therefore, originally, Krishna is the source of everything. He is the root. As the root of a tree maintains the whole tree, Krishna, being the original root of all things, maintains everything in this material manifestation. So just as Ekadasi book was saying that we worship Krishna in that form of Padmanabha, that is from Padmanabha's lotus feet, Krishna, Lord Vishnu, in that form that all the sacred rivers are coming.
That's what it means, does it? Padman.
Padman, from his feet. So when we worship, see what instructions Ekadasi book gives. Srila Prabhupada's process includes. So we automatically worship Krishna. This form of Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill, that's his form also. That's the same form as Padmanabha, you may say, only he's engaged in a different activity. It's the same Krishna. So this loving form of Krishna playing the flute with the gopis also. And when you worship him, included in that personal form of Krishna is all the incarnations. So that worship of Krishna that we're taking part in automatically includes all the other forms that we are being advised of. This is also confirmed as far as Krishna being the root of everything. It is also confirmed in the Vedic literature in Katha Upanishad, Canto 2, Chapter 2, verse 13. Nityo nityanam chaitanas chaitananam eko bahunam yo vidadati kama. He's the prime, eternal, among all eternals. He's the supreme living entity of all living entities, and he alone is maintaining all life. One cannot do anything without intelligence, and Krishna also says that he is the root of all intelligence. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. And there are many considered intelligent. How many people are considered intelligent in this world that never even heard of Krishna?
Right.
So their standard of what is intelligence is why I'm saying about the IQ quotient, which they hold as valid for, determining a person's intelligence.
Yeah.
But surrender to Krishna is the beginning of intelligence. So they're using a measurement that is like putting their hand on the scale.
Okay.
Someone weighing fruit, they put their hand on the scale to make it a little heavier so they can charge you more. So that's what they do with their own belief of what is their viewpoint of what intelligence is. And we see by Krishna's standard that they haven't come to the beginning of understanding yet. If they don't know what the beginning of understanding is, then no matter what test they can make based on their idea of what understanding is, they have no way of determining the value of a human being's intelligence. They don't use the proper scale of measurement.
Mm-hmm.
So they are misguided. Even though Krishna left the planet not completely engaged. The entire planet wasn't engaged in Krishna's service. He left the rest for us to do. Otherwise, there would be no service to engage in. If Krishna did it all, everybody's already now chanting, well, it's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
But he's giving those souls the opportunity to be able to engage in his service. This, at the beginning stages, takes on magnanimous forms of devotional service. Like myself, having been here for many years, the shelter was created before I got here. The magnanimous part is the establishing. Krishna says, I am the seed, giving the beginning for others to be able to come, like myself, to come and take advantage of. So this beginning that Srila Prabhupada established for so many souls, creating so many temples, establishing so many temples throughout the United States.
It's magic.
And it creates now the facility for people to become completely free from the effects of karma. Yeah. And not even making that the goal, because the goal individually is developing pure love for God. But with that comes automatically all the goals that others are seeking to gain. We read the benefits in these Ekadasis, just keeping Ekadasi, wow. In some cases, you gain more benefit than the whole planet is worth. And the value of the entire planet. Whew. Who has knowledge of these kinds of measurements in the mind of God? That's the measurement we need, our scale to measure. That's how we need to restore justice into the courtrooms, by bringing God's presence into the courtrooms, by knowing what God's laws are, and by keeping God's laws. If we don't keep God's laws, He won't stay in our presence. That's the thing. So when we act in a way that's not pleasing to God, He doesn't stay there, giving us realization. He's there with us in the form of super soul. But He's not forced to have to give us Himself. The knowledge that He is and that consciousness that He's sharing with us is up to Him if He wants us to be able to experience the fullness of that knowledge. And so what determines that, as far as I've seen, is moving Krishna happens by doing the things Krishna wants us to do. And from what I've seen, the distribution of these books, by our study of these books, we reveal to Krishna as well that we want more knowledge of Him. Because it is unlimited what knowledge there is to be known of God and of Krishna. And if we don't see that as our longing, that we need to purify that desire we have in our hearts. Otherwise, we will get the result of that desire that we are forming that is separate from Krishna. Because Krishna is so giving, He will give us what we ask. So we better be careful what we ask for. This is where the false ego has to be. See, if we're not broken in the false ego, we're going to be asking things that we don't need, that we ultimately have to be shown that we don't want. if we're asking for things that we don't need. Well, all we need is that which will give us the ability, more so, to promote these teachings. Get more followers watching our YouTube presentations, classes, having classes all day long, distributing prasadam to all close to the neighborhoods within 10-mile range. Going out, going from place to place, taking donations from the general public. We have to do these things to continue, or we will be left to our own desires, have a satisfied place, comfortable life, and don't care about anything else. It's an easy trap to fall into, because for the most part, people make that their goal. And I was getting the realization this morning, restraint is more powerful than false exhibition, you'd say, or facade that most people are putting on about themselves. The false ego. So the restraint of one's false ego, the restraint by the evidence of humility, meekness, kindness, these things are much more powerful when engaged in through our daily lives, and then we become confronted by circumstances created by other human beings, sometimes even emergencies. By just acting in the same way we've been taught to act all along, automatically it will put us in the position of being ready for anything, so to speak. Because Krishna's names are all powerful. We've got to start realizing what that means and the effect it can have upon my outlook in life, in my experience of life, and the activities I engage in life. If God is all powerful, and by knowing his names, and he's invested all of his power in his names, then in effect he's giving human beings his own power, his very power. Every time we say his name, he's putting his own power of being that seed, because the name Krishna takes on the quality of the seed, which means when it lands in somebody's heart, it works like a seed to grow. And so they might not know it, but once they've heard the name Krishna, it will itself fulfill its own purpose. So that's all we have to do. To give them the seed of Krishna is speak his name in their ear. And what we're giving them is relationship. The relationship we have is revealed in the way we speak Krishna's name. Your love for Krishna is contained in that sound vibration that you make into his name. See, this is how a pure devotee affects others around him. By the way they hear the sound vibration created by that body which has produced the sound, which is revealing love for Krishna. That's what Srila Prabhupada had above all else, that exceeded everyone else's, his love for Krishna. And that's what made him special. That's what made him able to perform the activities he did at such an advanced age, was his love for Krishna. And so in effect, that's all we have to do, is develop love for love. Develop love for the sake of love. And in so doing, then we will have love. Just like making friends. If you become a friendly person, then you have friends. You become a loving person, and people will give you love. If we don't do it for the reason of getting, do it for the reason of giving. Getting into pastime for class. Any comments, any questions, any realizations, anything you'd like to share? Read the verse one more time.
I'm preaching Texan right now. When you talking,
Preaching Texan.
I'm preaching Texan.
As it is not possible to filter muddy water through mud, or purify a wine-stained pot with wine, it is not possible to counteract the killing of men by sacrificing animals, or we could say by killing animals. The filtering of water, the purifying of water, by dragging it through muddy water. But that's what the killing of animals, for the sake of being forgiven of the killing of human beings, is. Killing to be forgiven of killing. That's crazy. And that's what some paths are offering as the state of religion. God. Shrimadbhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada.